Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, classmate. Our topic is all about information security maintenance. Security management models. Management model must be adapted to manage and operating ongoing security program. Models are framework that structure tasks of managing particular set of activities or business function. The ISO network management model, five-layer approach that provides structure to administration and management of networks and systems, addresses management and operation through five areas: fault management, configuration and name management, accounting management, performance management, and security management. Five areas of ISO model transform into five areas of security management: the fault management, the configuration and change management, the accounting and auditing management, the performance management, the security program management. Fault management. It's identifying, tracking, diagnosing, and resolving faults in system. Vulnerability assessment must often accomplish with penetration testing, simulated attacks exploiting documented vulnerabilities. And another aspect is monitoring and resolution of users' complaints. Help desk personnel must be trained to recognize security problems as distinct from other system problems. The configuration and change management. Configuration management, administration of the configuration of security program components. Change management, administration of changes is strategy, operation, or components. Each involve non-technical as well as technical changes. Non-technical changes impact procedures and people. Technical changes impact the technology implemented to support security efforts in the hardware, software, and data components. The non-technical change management. Changes to information security may require implementing new policies and procedures. Document managers should maintain master copy of each document, record and archive revisions made, and keep copies of revisions. Policy revisions not implemented and enforceable until they have been disseminated, read, understood, and agreed to. Software available to make creation, modification, dissemination, and agreement documentation process more manageable. The technical configuration and change management. Terms associated with management of technical configuration and change: configuration item, version, and build. First steps associated with configuration management: the configuration identification, configuration control, configuration status accounting, configuration audit. The accounting and auditing management. Chargeback accounting enables organizations to internally charge for system use. Some research usage is commonly tracked. Accounting management involves monitoring use of particular component of system. Auditing is process of reviewing use of a system, not to check performance, but to determine misuse or malfeasance. Automated tools can assist. Performance management. Important to monitor performance of security systems and underlying IT infrastructure to determine if they are working effectively. Common metrics are applicable in security, especially when the components being managed are associated with network traffic. To evaluate ongoing performance of security system, performance baselines are established. Security program management. The ISO 5 areas-based framework supports supports a structured management model by ensuring various areas are addressed. Two standards are designed to assist in this effort. Part 2 of the British Standards BS 7799 introduces process model: plan, do, check, and act. The maintenance model, designed to focus organizational effort on maintaining system. Recommended maintenance model based on 5 subject areas: the external monitoring, the internal monitoring, the planning and risk assessment, vulnerability assessment and remediation, readiness and review. Here's the diagram of the maintenance model. We have here the external monitoring, planning and risk assessment, the internal monitoring, readiness and review, vulnerability database, vulnerability assessment and remediation. The monitoring the external environment, objective to provide early awareness of new threats, threat agents, vulnerabilities, and attacks that is needed to mount an effective defense. Entails collecting intelligence from data sources and giving that intelligent context and meaning for use by organizational decision makers. Here's the diagram of external monitoring. Data sources. Acquiring threat and vulnerability data is not difficult. Turning data into information decision makers can use in the challenge. External intelligence comes from 3 classes of sources: vendors, computer emergency response teams, and public network sources. Regardless of where or how external monitoring data is collected, must be analyzed in context of organization security environment to be useful. Monitoring escalation and incident response. Function of external monitoring process is to monitor activity, report results, and escalate warning. Monitoring process has 3 primary deliverables: specific warnings, bulletin issued when developing threats, and specific attacks pose measurable risk to organization. Periodic summaries of external information, detailed intelligence on highest risk warning. The data collection and management. Over time, external monitoring processes should capture knowledge about external environment in appropriate formats. External monitoring collects raw intelligence, filters for relevance, assigns a relative risk impact, and communicates to decision makers in time to make a difference. Here's the diagram of external monitoring. Monitoring the internal environment. Maintain informed awareness of state of organization networks, systems, and defenses by maintaining inventory of IT infrastructure and applications. Internal monitoring accomplished by active participation in or leadership of IT governance process. Real-time monitoring of IT activity using intrusion detection system. Automated difference detection methods that identify variances introduced to network or system hardware and software. Here's the diagram of internal monitoring. We have here the security team scans internal environment for threats, inventory network and IT infrastructure, monitor IT activity with intrusion detection system, verify IP address from within, verify IP address from outside, participate in IT management change control process and architectural review boards. The network characterization and inventory. Organizations should have carefully planned and fully populated inventory for network devices, communication channels, and the computing devices. Once characteristic identified, they must be carefully organized and stored using a mechanism, manual or automated, that allows timely retrieval and rapid integration of disparate facts. The role of IT governance. Primary value is increased awareness of the impact of change. Awareness must be translated into description of risk that is caused by change through operational risk assessment. Awareness of change based on two primary activities within IT governance process: the architecture review boards and IT change control.
Hello sir, I'm reporter of Group 12. The role of IT governance. Primary value increase awareness of the impact of change. Awareness must be translated into description of risk that caused by change through operational risk assessment. Awareness of change based in two primary activities within IT governance process: architecture review boards, IT change control process. The role of IT governance, the primary value, active engage an organization, its governance process increase awareness of impact change awareness, translated into description that caused by change such as description is developed in the planning, the risks of assessment domain of operational risk assessment. Awareness of change flow that flows from IT governance comes to primary parts of the governance process. Architecture review boards, mirror organization group designated for the managed technology planning, review, and approval process that coordinates the acquisition and adoption of new technologies. The group direct the orderly introduction of change information technology across the organization. IT change control process must be of appreciable size, have implemented one or more mechanisms to control change in the network IT infrastructure and IT application. Making intrusion detection system. The most important value of raw intelligence provided by intrusion detection system ID is a providing indicator of current or imminent vulnerabilities. Logging files from engines can be mined of permission. Another idea is monitoring element is traffic analysis, attack signatures of successful systems can define weaknesses, various security efforts. Detecting difference. Difference analysis procedure that compares current state of network segment against known previous state of the same segment. Difference between the current state and baseline that are inspected could be sign of trouble and need investigation. Planning and risk assessment. Primary objective to keep lookout over entire information security program, accomplished by identifying and planning ongoing information security activities that further reduce risk. Planning and risk assessment continue. Primary objective. Establish formal information program review, instituting formal project identification, selection, planning, and management process. Coordinating with IT project teams are introduced. Risk assessment and review for all IT project, integrating mindset of risk assessment across organization. Sir, aden sampulan tanan kuan. in planning and risk assessment. Security assessment is own program. Thus, evaluate introduced by new IT project. Security teams evaluate within organization and develop slam process. Tas makunik kaya nga di may kawan teams page data organization database. Tas nga di may risk assessment for IT projects. Program review process for security department and adding pinakalasaran risk threat and attack database. Information security program planning and review. Periodic review of going information security program occupied with planning for enhance and extension is recommended. Should examine needs of future organization and impact those needs of information security. Unrecommended approach that takes advantage of the fact most organization have annual capital budget planning cycles and manage security project as a part of that process. Information security program planning and review. Third, in continuation, large project broken into smaller project for several reasons. Smaller project that's more manageable impact on networks and user. Larger trend complicate change control process and implementation phase. Shorter planning, development, and implementation schedules reduce recently. Most large projects can easily to broken down into smaller projects, giving more opportunities to change direction and gain flexibility. Security risk assessment. A key component for driving security program change is information security operational risk assessment RE. RE identifies and documents risks that project process or action introduced to organization and offers suggestion for controls. Information security group coordinates preparation of many types of RE documents. Vulnerable assessment and remediation. Primary goal is identification of specific documented vulnerabilities and their timely remediation, accomplished by using vulnerability assessment procedure. Documenting background information and providing tested remediation process for reported vulnerabilities. Tracking vulnerabilities from when they are identified. Communicating vulnerability information to owners of vulnerable system. Vulnerability assessment and remediation. Extract and from threat attack database. Sa din kon vulnerability assessment, internet assessment, platform security validation, wireless vulnerability assessment, modern vulnerabilities, tas naka-connect kaya nga di may vulnerability database, tas academic extract relevant data and develop remediation plan. Vulnerability assessment process identifying, documenting specific and probable flaws in organization, information, asset, environment. 5. Vulnerability and process that follow serve can organization to balance intrusive vulnerability assessment with needs a stable and productive production environment. Internet vulnerability designed to find and document vulnerability present in organization. Public facing network steps in the process include planning, scheduling, and notification. Target selection, test selection, scanning, analyst, record keeping. Intranet vulnerability assessment designed to find and document selected vulnerabilities present on the internal network. Attackers obtain internal members of organization, affiliates of business partners, or automated attack vectors such as viruses and worms. This assessment is usually performed against selected critical internal device with a known high value by using selective penetration testing in its process almost identical to step inherent vulnerability assessment. Platform security validation designed to find and document vulnerabilities that may present because of misconfigured system is used within organization. This misconfigured system failed to comply with company policy or standard. Fortunately, automated measurement systems are available to help intensive process validating compliance of platforms configuration with policy. Wireless vulnerability assessment designed to find and document vulnerabilities that may present in wireless local or network organization. Since attackers from direction are likely to take advantage, any loophole or flaw assessment is usually performed against all publicity accessible areas using every possible wireless penetration testing approach. Modern vulnerability assessment designed to find any vulnerability present on dial-up modems connected to organization network. Since attackers from this direction to take advantage of loophole of law assessment, usually performed against all telephone numbers owned by organization. One of the elements process obtained called war dialing uses scripted dialing attacks against phone or phone numbers. Documenting vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities tracking device should be detailed as well like or information asset. So, ang vulnerability tracking device should, kumbaga naghatagiyahin details. Hatagiyan ko ang details, tas pwede dyan gamiton haling information asset. Low cost is mixed rational database realistic choice. Vulnerability database an essential part effective remediation. Remediating vulnerabilities. Objective is repair flow causing vulnerability intents remove breaks associated with vulnerability. As last resort, inform decision makers with proper can risk. Important to recognize the building relationship with those who control information asset is the key to success. Success depends on organization and adapt team approach to remediation in place cross-organizational push and pull. Acceptance or transference of risk. In some instances, most simply by acknowledge as part organization business process. Management must be assured that decision made to assume that organization are made by properly informed decision makers. Information security must make sure the right people makes assumption decision with the complete knowledge of impact of the decision. Threat removal. In the same circumstance, threats can be removed without repairing vulnerability. Vulnerability can no longer be exploited and the risk has been removed. Other vulnerabilities may be amenable to other controls that not allow expensive repair and still remove risks from situation. Vulnerability repair optimum solution is most cases to repair vulnerability. Applying patch software or completing a workaround often accomplish this. In some cases, simply disabling the service removes vulnerability. In the other cases, simple remedies are possible. Most common repair is application of software patch. Readings and review. Primary goal to keep information security program functioning and design and continuously improving by policy and review, program review and rehearsal. Policy review, tas adin ko security maintenance program and stay ready. Tas iyagin ginahatag din may plan review for IRP, DRP, and BHC. Rehearsal. Tas nga di may rehearsal and war game. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.